What's up, everybody? Welcome to my review of the Latitude 64 Opto Caltrop. I was not necessarily planning to review this disc, but I'm unable to continue testing any new plastic based on the fact that the air quality here in the Pacific Northwest is really poor. We have a ton of wildfires going on right now, and getting outside and doing exercises and stuff, throwing discs and walking around and getting my lungs going, not recommended right now. In fact, just sitting here in my back room and talking, I'm starting to kind of get short of breath. It's been really rough, but I want to post a review anyway and keep the ball rolling for Fresh Plastic Friday. So here comes a review of the Opto Caltrop. Latitude 64 Caltrop is an overstable putt and approach disc. Great for short-range drives and approaches. Not necessarily something I will putt inside the circle with unless it's a really windy day or a headwind putt. Works great for headwind putts. Looking at this disc, it's got a beautiful stamp. I really like the star pattern on this thing. If you don't know, a Caltrop is basically one of those little spike devices that you put on the road in order to try to impede the movement of a vehicle. That's what a Caltrop is, hence the star pattern on this one, and also the Zero Soft. Opto-line plastic, Latitude 64, overstable putt and approach. You can see that the Opto one actually has a little bit more of a dome top to it, which is interesting. The Zero Soft has kind of like an indented like puddle top, and even if it's not indented, it's basically bored flat in comparison. You can see that the Opto has a little bit more of a rounded top to it. The Opto plastic is great. It's got a great mix of durability and still has a nice grippy feel in the hand that inspires confidence when you throw it. I just love this plastic. It's probably my overall favorite plastic type on the market. It's well documented here in my channel and in my own bag. Most of the discs I'm throwing are in this plastic type. At this point, it just feels great, maintains durability for a really long period of time, and nice bright colors. What more do you want, right? So the Caltrop has this nice little thumb track here. If you don't want to use it, you can kind of just ignore it, but it is a very similar disc to like an Innova Rhino or something along those lines. I have not really tested a Rhino too much, but I could see why people think they're quite similar. But yeah, especially in the way that the thumb track is executed, very similar. I probably don't really put my thumb on it. Kind of sitting here in my grip, I feel like I put my thumb out from it a little bit, but if you want to snug it right up to that little thumb track, you can do that. But it's a good feeling disc in the hand. It's got almost like a lid type feel to it because it's not sharp at all, kind of a flat front edge, and maybe a little bit deeper than other discs. Probably not. It probably just feels that way because there's not much of a rounded outer edge here. It's probably similar depth to most putters, maybe a little bit more deep. Good feeling disc in the hand though. It's easy to throw and release, and I dig it quite a bit. So let's talk about the flight of the Caltrop. The Opto Caltrop, compared to the Zero Soft plastic, is a little bit more overstable. It will finish more and fade more at the end of the flight. It will also fight the turn a little bit more. It won't have any natural turn to it whatsoever. Not that the Zero Soft will really turn so much as just kind of stand up a little bit longer before it finishes. The Opto is a little bit more resistant to that. Throw it as hard as you want to. You're not going to flip it over accidentally ever, which is a really great attribute for a short-range driver and putt and approach type disc. Just in and around the green, it's very consistent, very accurate. If you need something that's nice and overstable, even out to the right a little bit, throw it as hard as you want to. Don't worry about it flipping over, and he'll have a nice little fade and hook up towards the basket. The Opto Caltrop is a great option for you to check out. I carry both of these generally. Maybe occasionally I'll carry one or the other depending on where I'm going, but I like to have both in the bag because the Zero Soft is a little bit straighter overall out of the box, and it's also breaking in quicker, so it just goes super straight, dead straight at the basket, gentle fade at the end of the flight. The Opto, again, more resistant to turning, has a little bit more fade at the end of the flight, so I like it more for short range drives, especially on a hyzer. Holds a hyzer, putter hyzer off the tee very nicely, which I like quite a bit. So that's primarily what I'm throwing it for. Good forehand approach disc as well. That works out very nicely. The one thing I'll say about both of these discs is that it could be a pro or a con depending on your perspective, but you have to throw them with some conviction and commit to the shot, or else you can leave them short. They're not a far-flying disc, so you have to throw them hard and kind of aim out to the right a little bit, play for the fade. If you do that, they're extremely consistent, and you won't have to worry about overshooting the basket, which I actually personally like. I was using an Axiom Envy in a similar slot that these have kind of taken over, but occasionally I would just get it to ride way too far and out past the basket. And these, I really don't have to worry about that. I can kind of just aim them just out to the right a little bit, throw them strong, and they will finish and fade right towards the basket and never really blow past. But if you want something that's more of a finesse disc, you want something that you can kind of put a little touch shot on, get it to stand up and float towards the basket, this is not the disc you're looking for. So, great forehand approach disc, overstable disc. If you have a little bit more power and looking for a driving putter, it could be a great option for you to check out. That's my review on the Opto Caltrop. I will check you guys later. Cheers!